Hello, welcome to DevKami Short. My name is Sumin. So, remember the time I tell you that in Kickstarter I bought a watch? Yeah, it's one of the old episodes last year. So this is the Bango.js. One of the extra thing I bought is of course the Puck.js here. So, um, for refresher, what is this? So both of these are actually JavaScript programmable devices, meaning it is precisely what it is. There is a special firmware which implement a set of JavaScript, the JavaScript language, but it does not comes with the API, web API or not. They have a different API. And it does not. So, for example, you cannot process Go on this device. So, the API for that is actually implemented on a firmware called Esprino. So, let me go to the tab. Whoops. Esprino. So, Esprino is actually a firmware. It's implemented in JavaScript. Then it's responsive, then it's fully open source, which is why you get implementation. You get implementation in other hardware as well. It's crowdfunded and whatnot. So originally it's actually done on the STM32, and nowadays it runs on an NRF52. Very different microcontroller, but it is what it is. It comes with a programming environment. It works on browser. Very interesting. We also showed that previously as well. So, what is Esprino? Now, what does Esprino provide? That's the question. Here you are. Okay, so first, Esprino provide environments, it provide IDE, and it provide the libraries. And Esprino, the organization, they provide the hardware. So, for example, the one above, Pixel, this is web, I believe. Let me find the hardware. So they also support USB, but that's me. Here you are. Sorry, wrong button. My bad. So these are class of software. Some provide only USB, some provide wireless. The interesting thing about the whole environment is it can provide both. This is very interesting, but there's a caveat. More on that later. For some hardware, so this is officially supported one. Third party actually have some supported company, for example, Smarty Board, which I actually really like. It looks very cute. It's a phone control robot, and a board and a phone control robot on it, which is very interesting. Also very smart. So yeah. Then of course there's a community supported board. It's not supported by the organization. So since the early hardware actually support STM32, we have STM32 microcontroller, so it would work. But one more interesting thing is ESP32 and ESP8266 is supported. And BBC Micro is also supported. BBC Micro is supported partly is expected because the NRF32, the BBC Micro 2 actually runs off on NRF32. So yes. So it provides some of the expected API. So they provide the analog read, analog write, binary conversion, sensor reading, digital write. But one of the more interesting thing to me is actually, does it show here? No. Okay, it supports TensorFlow library. What do I mean by that? So remember that one episode we actually do TensorFlow like micro. So TensorFlow micro is actually a way for you to run TensorFlow like implementation of of neural network. So what they do is you can take the binary and compile it into something more that your microcontroller can use. But with caveat like you don't do a very deep network, for example. So either way, the library actually provides a way for you to run the resulting the output from TensorFlow like micro. So you can program you can train a neural network and potentially use it on the Esprino devices, which I think is very interesting and make these had very good potential. MicroPython can't do that, by the way. Which I think is very interesting. So how do you program it? So what is the Puck.js as a reminder? So as you can see, this is Puck.js. So let me see if I can point to this. Let me move this away because it's distracting, and of course you see my hand also distracting. So I think it's very smart. It's just plastic, and of course the microcontroller itself. This is the NRF32, some sensor along. The one I'm pointing here is the very small LED. It's powered by a coin cell battery, and it lasts already for 1 or 2 months, which is very cool. And a button. So in this way, and also you have all the soldering part. This is actually the GPIO, and you can use that to actually support your capacitive sensing touchpad. So you can do quite a lot of stuff you want to. But for basic, you already can do quite a lot. And also, one thing that really do right is that the environment is on browser. So which is actually very unique among the things that I know. I mean, I do not have that, which is also interesting. Of course, there's caveat as well. So yeah, Puck.js, this is hardware and all that. So how do you program it? There is command line, but the best experience for programming the Puck.js, even Esprino, is actually using the web IDE, which comes to a caveat. Caveat number one: the web IDE requires the browser to support web Bluetooth and web USB, and as far as concerned, only Edge supported Edge, Chrome, and Opera supports it. So, which to me is a bit sad. But that being said, there is ways for you to run it. It's possible to run this on a Node.js and a local WebKit client, nw.js. It's possible to do that, but I did not manage to get it to work. It's also possible to. So another hack is install everything on a Raspberry Pi, then use the Raspberry Pi as a programmer. So that works. Then you just use a browser to point to it. That could work, but I don't know the caveat yet. I did not try that. So that being said, let's move on. So first thing that we do for our project is actually blink. So remember that this RGB LED. Well, it's really this, right? It's really LED1 wrap. Okay, right? Then LED2, LED3, then LED2. So it's in a way it is RGB, but it's one LED at a time. So to do that, you should do something like this. So it's actually one at a time. So digital, right? And so yeah, you can get that. Then to off it, just off. Right? So, and with this you blink. Then you just use a JavaScript loop to actually blink your LED. It's pretty easy. So it's pretty easy. Then of course you have the button. Set watch function. So press. So press. So yeah, you can actually write longer function. It's just that I just want to show the behavior. That's all. So what else? So you already blink. There's like 101. There's also sensor that you can already use. So let's get your temperature. Sorry, wrong tab. So interested. The documentation lied to me. God damn it. So it does not work the way I think. Interesting. Missing semicolon. What? Why? Okay, it does not work the way I like this. Then we can of course use this. Give me a moment. Get battery percentage. So yep, it had all the IDE feature. So it's like I think I need to print it. Console.log. Then I need to use e.get temperature. Temperature. Then temperature. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, 30 degrees. There is multiple way to upload. You can upload to RAM. This is what I use, so I can experiment without messing things up. Flash, meaning it will run, so it will be part of the firmware to run. First thing to run. And storage, you just create a file, so you just have Esprino to find the file. So for example, you open here, they will attempt to open a file from the device, or open a file from this. So yeah. And of course you can upload a file, code, Let's move on. There's actually a lot of very interesting things. Then capacitive done, battery level done, temperature done. So let's say you want to do this guy here actually support this is actually NFC. They support the full NFC protocol, but I'm not too familiar with it. Let me open the tab to show you. I'm going to show you the simple one, but you can actually do the whole NFC data send and read, which is very cool if I understand it. So, but for now, I'm going to do the simple demo, right? So note that my phone nothing. Now let's flash the code, right? Then Esprino.com. To disable it, just remove it. So yeah, you can actually do quite a lot of interesting thing on it. Then of course, flash. Okay. So now, and finally, the most important demo is actually the other sensors. So for example, you already know about accelerometer. So like this, about. So let me comment it out. So yeah, notice that it can turn around and run this just simply. Of course, I should really write the full code, but you know, I'm lazy. And finally, you can do motion detection with this. Of course, you can also do significant motion detection, step counting, possible, because so yeah. So this some of the sensor. As I said, there's a lot of sensor that you can explore. We will do more episode on the thing that we had on. Finally, this thing here actually have modules because this is proper JavaScript. So you can use GitHub for this. But you can also put it from storage. But what I'm interested is actually built-in modules. So it's already here, so whatever that is part of it is already part of the library. So yes. So will I hack this more? Yes. What else I can do this for? I don't know yet. There's a lot. As I say, you already can do temperature, you already can do magnetic, you can do this, or you can do accelerometer, and you can run TensorFlow on it, so you can potentially turn this into an activity tracker. Then you can play with NFC. And finally, something I won't do as well is you can also do Bluetooth. As in, you are allowed to do Bluetooth LE, low energy proper. Meaning, let me show you. You can turn this into a keyboard. So if you can turn it on a keyboard, you can turn it on the keyboard. Then you can turn it into a clicker. You can turn it into a controller. So it's endless. So you can do quite a lot of stuff. So then with Bluetooth, you can also use it to do become a you can also use it for beacon. As I said, you can do a lot of stuff. So it is endless, right? So for example, this is the low-level library. Somebody had built an example for keyboards. So there's a keyboard modules. You just send a key, so you can build a clicker on it. Then finally, I want to see beacon. So then of course you can do Eddystone beacon. So yeah, but beacon doesn't work on notification anymore, but there's a way to do this. So you can also do iBeacon, etc. So in short, the capability is endless, even without hacking the GPIO. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. I suggest you can hacking it, but getting it might be hard right now, to be honest. It might be a bit hard right now because international shipping and all that. And also this thing is around $30 US, so not exactly the cheap thing. So it's not something that you would put it on your dock and run around. I mean, capability wise it would work, but capability wise it would work, but it will be a bit more expensive lah. So let me see whether they have this. So yeah, SysStudio doesn't have that, which is a bit sad, but well, I hope we can see more around. So that being said, thanks for listening, and Good night.